This is Doc Hicks TV.
What up, though? This your boy DOC, and as promised, let's go ahead and get into the second part of Tupac Decoded. So here you go.
Basically, on that situation, you basically had, I guess, Dr. Dre, who owed Suge Knight, I guess, $330 million because of the fact that when Dr. Dre signed that deal, I can't tell you what type of deal it was, but there's a deal that he owes Suge Knight money, okay? And so they go to Tams and they actually meet up to go get this money, or not actually get the money, but perhaps talk about the money, negotiate, whatever. So your boy Suge Knight, he like, okay, I'm going to go see about my money, you know, because these people in Continent, you know, that called him. His homeboy called him and told him to come up there. So he's like, all right, for sure, I'll pull up. Tams is a burger joint. It's prevalent, like on the east side of L.A. It's really prevalent in the Compton area. It's about 2 or 3 of them, and that's like the, I guess you could say like the McDonald's of Compton, you know what I'm saying, Tams. Right. Very good burgers, all that kind of stuff. So he pulls up, and, you know, he see people he know. But the stipulation behind that is the fact that the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department is controlled by the same entities, you know, that's trying to keep him in jail, and the same entities that's doing what they're doing to him. So when he pulls up to this place at Tams, there is going to be no police officers driving by. There is going to be no sheriffs pulling up. It's going to just be a meeting between this man and these people, and that's it. So when he gets up there, he looks at the scene. It don't look friendly at all. He see people grabbing guns. He see people in the bushes. It's not right. So he did what any other nigga would do. He reversed and he got up out of there. And you saw what you saw on, you know, TMZ or whatever or whatnot. Right. But basically what that is they don't want him to get his money, not just because they don't want him to be rich, because they don't want him to have the money to fight his representation, to clear him and everything, and to actually provide the truth on what really happened to Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G. Because I believe that Suge Knight, of course, wants to get off his chest what really happened before I'm pretty sure he thinks he's going to die, because they've been trying to kill him forever. You know, they tried to kill him at the club in One Oak. They tried to kill him at Tams. Now, the situation that happened at One Oak, we already know the police officer, L.A. Sheriff's Police Department officer, was the one who picked up the shooters and dropped them off at the airport so they could flee the country. And this is evidence that was caught by Detective Russell Poole, rest in peace, who we mentioned last time, later on died in that office when presenting the evidence to the Sheriff's Department. Right. So it's a clear conspiracy behind the whole thing. And we also spoke about the 40 caliber Glock that was confiscated from, I said last time it was Gaddafi, but it was actually Hussein Fatal, who was trying to get inside the House of Blues on the 4th of July in 1996, and an off-duty Santa Monica Police Department, because a lot of people know that the House of Blues is not in Santa Monica, so they're probably wondering, how did the Santa Monica police get the gun? Well, it was an off-duty Santa Monica Police Department officer who searched Hussein Fatal and took the gun away from him. So when he took this gun away from him, he gave the gun to Kevin Hackey, who at the time was an FBI informant, also an informant for ATF, and but his regular profession was a school policeman. So the Santa Monica Police Department officer, off-duty officer, gives the gun, the 40 caliber Glock, to Kevin Hackey. Kevin Hackey, in turn, sends this gun to the FBI. The FBI checks this gun for ballistics, right? The gun comes back clean, okay? They say, okay, you know, no bodies on it, nothing like that. They give the gun back. So the gun comes back. Kevin Hackey, you know, picks the gun back up from the Santa Monica Police Department, and then he gives it to Reggie Wright Jr., who was, of course, the owner of Rightway Security, the security staff that was in charge of protecting the Death Row Stars at the moment. So he gives this gun to the head of security, Reggie Wright. Reggie Wright, in turn, gives it to his father, and his father don't remember where he put the gun. So it lets you know right there that there's some mickeyness going on with the murder weapon.
Right.
Now, the murder weapon was put into the police office at Compton. And I guess when the Malcolm Patton and Danny Patton, the alleged shooters, received this gun from Reggie White Jr., there was also a gang summit in Balboa Park, which is about 40 miles north of Los Angeles, in which Reggie White called it was a fake gang summit, but it really was a meeting to basically see who recruit the killer, so to speak. This meeting is well documented. This meeting was with various Crip and Blood gangs throughout Los Angeles, and this meeting at Balboa Park is well documented. So this meeting has actually occurred.
So this is before Tupac's death. You're talking about
this is before Tupac death. For them to recruiting the killers. Now they tell you Orlando Anderson was the killer, okay? And this is how I got another call coming in. We're gonna leave that alone. But they say Orlando Anderson was the killer, but this is how you know he's not. So there's this gang meeting at the summit at Balboa Park in the Valley, and they're basically recruiting the shooters here. At the end of the recruitment, Danny Patton, Malcolm Patton, and Little Half Dead were the shooters. There was a cashier's check for $100,000 issued to Malcolm Patton to be the shooter from Suge Knight. Little Half Dead was supposed to shoot Tupac, and I can't tell you what the other two were given for what they were supposed to do. All the people who were at that meeting who didn't want to be in part of the killing, they have to be at the club as just bystanders at the club. So, Right Way Security, Reggie White, he tells at the day of the Tupac shooting, he tells the security staff not to carry any guns that day. Okay, he also pulls Michael Moore off of Tupac and Frank Alexander off of Tupac. They call him on the cell phone and ask him, okay, are you with Tupac? He's like, yeah. He kind of get mad because, of course, he want Tupac to be all alone. So long story short, they meet up at the club. They meet up at Suge's house. They, they talk and discuss what's going on. And then from there on, they go to the fight. And then from the fight, they go, Tupac and Frank, they get dressed. And then they take this caravan of these 6 cars out onto the street to head to the club. Now, of course, when they head to this caravan, the white Cadillac pulls alongside the passenger side, open fire. Now, you got witnesses that state that they saw a dark-skinned hand, a black male, roll the window down, and as soon as that gun came out the window, that person shot, basically insinuating that person knew exactly who they were gunning for. Now, back to this meeting at Balboa Park. This meeting at Balboa Park supposedly was video recorded and tape recorded, and the person who has this video and tape recording is keeping it for evidence right now in case, I guess, I don't know if the people were trying to kill him or not. And everything I'm telling you, bro, is well documented. I'm not talking from like word of mouth or nothing. Everything I'm telling you, anybody who's a real fan of this, they know and they can go find this information. All you have to do is look and read the book Chaos Merchants, okay? And there's also a book called Tupac 187, all right? These are books that basically tell you exactly what happened in these situations. Now, so
and
once
books, not to cut you off, but those two
go ahead.
Those 2 books that you mentioned, that has nothing to do with the murder rap or the E1s or none of that. It's not coming from that side of the fence. This is like independent individuals that's putting out this information, that's been collecting information.
That's a good point. No, this perspective is the opposite of the murder rap perspective, which is known as the Tupac assassination theory. Of course, you got the murder rap theory, which is of course heavy with Orlando Anderson being the shooter and doesn't implicate any cops, which we already know 30 cops were involved in this. And of course, you have the Tupac assassination side, which basically detailing everything that I'm saying right now, that I'm giving you. Okay, right. Basically, what I'm giving you was actually written by R.J. Bond and Russell Poole, like straight from them. So they're telling the story based on people they interviewed, people that have came forward and gave information, and they put all this together to come out with their theory. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Now, right. So, as like I was mentioning with the murder rap theory, Greg Kading, they're part of E1 and everything that they're doing. So, of course, they got millions of dollars to push their side and everything. The Tupac assassination theory may not have as much, let's say, money per se to push their narrative, but their narrative is so clear as day as what really happened that most people believe this side of the theory, even without it having $1 trillion damn budget to push. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
All you have to do is just read both, and any person who can, has a mind would definitely, in my opinion, agree with the Tupac assassination theory. The main reason is because the murder rap doesn't implicate any cops whatsoever. And I mean, if you follow in this case, there's dirty cops left and right. So once Tupac, gets shot, Frank Alexander, the bodyguard, goes to the scene, and he finds out that Tupac was shot with a .40 caliber. Okay, we all thought it was a 9mm, but he was shot with a .40 caliber. That was the caliber that was at the scene. That was in Tupac. That was it. So they run another ballistics test on that gun. Remember I told you, the FBI ran a ballistics test right after Hussein Fatal gun was confiscated by the Santa Monica Police Department, and it was given to the FBI. Then the FBI gave it back to Kevin Hackey, who was, of course, the FBI informant. And of course, like I said, Hackey gave it back to Reggie White. Now, when they ran a ballistics on that gun again ran ballistics on the bullet, rather, the second time, or the casing or whatever, that gun casing matched that same gun that was confiscated at the House of Blues. And that's on record. You see what I'm saying? That's on record. So now they trying to go and look for this gun now, right?
Yeah.
So they're asking Reggie White, okay, well, what's up with the gun? And he has an interview with a lady by the name, I think, Kim Alexander. I don't know who she is. I don't know if she was a reporter, she was a detective. I don't know who she was, but she's basically giving an interview and asking Reggie White, like, what did you do with the gun? And if you hear his answers, he does not give you a clear. First, he said he don't remember. Then he says, oh, you know what, I do remember. And he's stumbling with his words. And then basically he came down to saying he just basically don't remember what happened to the gun. He gave it to his father, but he don't remember what happened to the gun. So there's a huge gray area with the gun. One thing we know for sure, that was the gun that was that was used to kill Tupac, because they've done a ballistic test before and they did a ballistic test after. So we know that.
Right. So
now it comes time to finding his gun. So this man admits that he has that gun. You see what I'm saying? So where is the gun? This is the $1 million question. Okay. Now I mentioned also about the confession letter that was written by one of the Patton brothers, and that was given to award-winning, or should I say, renowned reporter Chris Blatchford from Fox 11 News. And Chris Blatchford gave that letter to Russell Poole. And when Russell Poole got the letter, he already knew what time it was. They, in turn, like I said, tried to give the evidence to the sheriff's department, and then Russell Poole loses his life in there. But inside the confession letter, it tells you straight up the people who, the people who were involved, who got paid what, how they got paid, where the meeting took place, and the fact that this meeting took place in Los Angeles County makes it an LA case. You know what I'm saying? I know, Vegas has their hands in it, other people have their hands in it, but the fact that the plot of this murder allegedly took place at Balboa Park at this fake gang summit, that means that this case is now part of LAPD, of course. You know what I'm saying? So you have all these cops that are implicated, and you also have the security guards who were hired by Reggie White. You had about 5, 6 of them. One of them, Kevin Hackey, Michael Moore, and I forget the other ones. Now, the other security guards, they've been interviewed, and they basically say that it was clear as day Reggie White had his hands in this whole entire deal. They say Suge Knight was so loyal to Reggie, or I guess he was loyal to the T. He couldn't believe Reggie could even do something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, I know you probably wonder how does that tie into E1? All of that basically ties into them owning his music. Okay, E1 comes into play with his legacy and his music being involved. The same people who was running, I can't say the same people who was running Interscope or running Time Warner, but they're all in the bed with each other. You see what I'm saying? With a higher panoramic picture that they got going on. You see what I'm saying? You got Tupac Shakur, who, in my opinion, made his death marketable. With the last album he made, and of course with the 7 Day Theory, I think they basically killed him for his residual wealth and for his generational wealth. Now, the hit that night was actually a hit for Suge Knight to take away Death Row from Suge. Okay, you also have Sharitha Knight, who is in all these lawsuits with the money. She had a lawsuit against Snoop Dogg. She had a lawsuit against Corrupt. These are all lawsuits you guys can basically look up. They're the Freedom of Information Act. All this stuff I'm saying, guys, y'all can look up. It's there. This ain't just somebody told me. All this information is out there, which is mind-boggling to me that this case is still open, because all the evidence is there, and Russell Full solved the case. Now, a little. Go ahead.
And just as of recent, and don't lose your thought, because just as of recent.
Yeah.
Maybe about a month or so ago, it was not Tupac. Suge Knight came out and said that, when he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna reveal who the killers was." He was like, the hit was actually for him, so he didn't actually say this out his own mouth. And see, a lot of people think that he's saying this just to get out of jail, but you believe it's some true. Basically, that's true that hit really was for him, not Pop.
Definitely, well, the hit was for both of. The hit was for Suge. But, of course, Lil Half-Dead had it out for Tupac because allegedly Brenda Had a Baby, one of Tupac's famous songs, was allegedly stolen from Lil Half-Dead, and Lil Half-Dead, I guess, didn't like that. We also knew that Lil Half-Dead was Snoop Dogg's cousin, and I guess he was some sort of enforcer for Snoop, and it was well documented that Snoop wasn't being treated right with Death Row. He had a murder case in the early 90s, which Death Row spent a lot of money on, Suge Knight and the lawyer David Kenner. And I guess since he spent a lot of money on Snoop Dogg's legal fees and making him a free man, I guess, Suge Knight felt like Snoop, you kind of just chill for a minute, so to speak. But Snoop, I'm not going to say he was jealous of Tupac, but saw everything Tupac was getting, not as far as money, because Tupac was getting done kind of crazy with his money as well, but as far as Tupac's prominence and how he was rising up. And Snoop Dogg felt like he deserved more, because he did. I mean, he brought Death Row, so 70 million records with Death Row. But like I said, he was tied in with that legal stuff, and Suge Knight and David Kenner felt like, you owe us, because without us, you be in penitentiary. You see what I'm saying? So that's why, there was a growing sentiment between Pac and Snoop. And also, there was other stuff about, some stuff about Snoop getting beat up and Snoop not wanting to come do shows with Tupac toward the latter phase of Pac being alive. There was supposed to be a show that I guess Ice-T had to do with Tupac because Snoop didn't come to the rehearsal. That made Pac mad. Just a lot of stuff. And then, of course, Snoop feared for his life on the plane back home because he knew at that time Pac and company didn't have nothing to do with him. And Snoop Dogg rather, kept asking Tupac, are you going to Vegas? Are you going to Vegas? And this is some shit that Snoop would tell you himself. I was asking him, was he going to Vegas? And he just had this look on his face. I was asking him, was he going to Vegas? And he just looked at me like I wasn't shit. Well, you asking him because you got to think about it. Tupac wasn't no dummy. His Panthers were Black Panthers. He knew the tactics of these people. His people probably schooled him. So he probably knew what the fuck Snoop Dogg was on a mile away. He already knew when he got to Vegas he was quote unquote a dead man walking, because people don't even, most people, I'm gonna say people because a lot of people know what's up, but most people don't even know the real reason why Tupac was in Vegas. Most people say it was because of Tyson fight. He was there to see Tyson. No, Tupac didn't want to go to Vegas. Tupac was only in Vegas because a crooked judge ordered him to come do a free show at Club 662 because Tupac violated his parole by having some weed on him in Los Angeles. So people out there that in court cases, people that's in trouble now, you tell me what judge is finna tell you, nah, bro, we're not gonna take you back to jail. In order for you to stay out and not violate your parole, do me a favor, just go to Vegas and do a free show. And that way you won't violate your parole. That's well documented too. That's not hearsay, that's well documented. Tupac was in Vegas because if he didn't do that free show at Club 662, he would have violated his parole and he would have been back in the penitentiary. Well documented. So you are SNL's conspiracy right there. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You wanted him in Vegas. You wanted him in Vegas. Whoever wanted him in Vegas. So with that being said, we're in Vegas now. So
Doc
you got
Hicks
before they even get to Vegas, you got Snoop Dogg asking Pac 3 or 4 times he going to Vegas. Pac already kind of hip to what's going on, looking at Snoop like what the fuck is wrong with this nigga? You feel me? Like you asking me if I'm going to Vegas, something got to be up. Then at that time, you got to understand there was Death Row was kind of split. You had the Death Row, you had the Tupac entourage side with the Outlaws, and even though the Outlaws wasn't from Death Row, you had the Tupac side with the Outlaws and company, and then you had the DPG side with Nate Dogg, Daz, Corrupt, and their side. I know it was one label, but it was kind of divided. See what I'm saying? With that being said, at that moment in time, the DPG faction, the Dog Pound side, they kind of wasn't really. Word is that they wasn't feeling the Death Row, and they was kind of having their own agenda as far as maybe getting out of Death Row, or they was kind of through with it. Long story short, they were just through with the whole Death Row shit.
Right. And
Daz Dillinger made a comment that he kind of wanted to, because Daz Dillinger, he a writer, you feel me? He wanted to actually fight Suge in Vegas, because Daz was a wild head. He wanted to, squabble, and it's documented. What Daz said himself, him and Suge used to fight all the time.
Yeah.
Anyway, he wanted to hop out on Suge, quote unquote, with a squabble or something like that. But Snoop Dogg told Daz Dillinger, nah, don't go to Vegas. Something of the nature of you'll fuck shit up or let shit play out, or you don't want to mess this up. Well, you don't want to mess what up? What are you messing up? A concert? A Tyson fight? You know what I'm saying? So shit is adding up, dog. It is not adding up, bro. And so, what happens to Tupac happens to Tupac. He gets shot. The 40 caliber Glock, of course, had the ballistics test ran after the fact. Comes out that it's the same damn gun they confiscated 3 months prior from Hussein Fatal. And that gun now is nowhere to be found.
Now I got a 2-part question for you, because it was something that you
Sure.
briefly spoke on that I wanted to see. It was something somebody you mentioned. You said either the night of or after Tupac, quote unquote, gets killed, was in the studio and had a CD cover with his dead picture on it. That
was a little. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Continue.
That, and then it was something else that I think you said something about, while all this was going on, it was so much corruption going on in LA at that time that the FBI was looking at LA and the police or something, and that this was what made the case become familiar with the FBI or something like that. You remember saying something? Were you speaking on that last time? That's how you kind of got off into talking about, it might sound crazy, but Donald Trump removing these people, this and that. You remember what you was kind of talking about?
That was actually with the Russians. So with the little half there, basically, rumor has it, and this ain't my rumor, my nigga. This is just rumors that been circulating. That, and this is from people that was around the situation, that on, I guess, the table at the studio or something like that, there was an album cover that depicted a dead Tupac on his album cover. And a lot of people thought that was weird, and this is before Tupac was, shot and dead. So he had this album cover for the shit or whatever, and a lot of people thought it was very strange. And who knows what happened to that album cover? Some people say they've seen it. I don't know, but there's more than 1, 2, 3 stories that say he had that album cover because I guess he was coming out with some type of a project or something like that, or album or something. Who knows? But the album cover depicted a dead Tupac on it, and a lot of people, even back then, was kind of weary of that.
Right.
And so that was something that was never. I'm pretty sure Lil Half Dead was never asked about that. I'm sure Snoop, anybody was never asked about that. You know what I'm saying? That just is something that people know of. You know what I mean? As far as the Russians, that was basically saying that at the time, Russia has, put it like this, Russia has a lot of information on Pac and Biggie.
Doc Hicks
What that
TV.
information is, no one knows. But at that time, they had a satellite over, I guess, Vegas, LA, Vegas at the time for sure. And I don't know if I can't say if it was surveillance or what, but they have some type of evidence of the case that they're holding on to, like for sure. And you have people, in particular, Tanique Reviews, who's trying to spearhead a movement to, go out there and get that evidence and see what they have and how that plays into what was out here and things of that nature. But it's very well documented that the Russians love Tupac. So you do have people out there that are trying to get that information and bring it back.
Right. Now, it was something that you mentioned, and I wanted to see how this kind of plays into the E1 situation where you said that it's documentation that LT Hutton been had the rights to be able to produce this movie since 90-something, and the only reason why they're even put the John single into this to make it seem as I can't remember exactly, but what were you saying about that?
Right. Now, well, as far as it being documented, I can't say it's documented as far as it was on the paper and they signed the contract, but this movie has been in the works since '96 as far as LT Hutton receiving the rights to do the movie since the same year Pac died. And if you hear the actor for the movie that's coming out, listen to his interview with Big Boy. He'll tell you when he started trying out for this movie. And you tell me at the time he tell you is Mickey. It's very early, very, very, very early when he started trying out for that movie. Years ago, over a decade ago. So it's kind of like, how the fuck, you this dude get the rights for the movie same year the man dies. You know what I'm saying? But, LT Hutton Ben had that. And as far as the John Singleton theory, they brought him in late to bring the facade that basically they just started filming this shit. And that was false. I didn't say start filming it, but starting, we're just starting to get together the staff. No, they been had who they wanted to direct it, all that shit, bro. And it came late. They used him as, just some, he's coming in late, and we're starting to get the whole staff together. But in actuality, they been already had their staff together. That was just to throw off the public, like we're calling the troops up. But they've already had the planning for this movie a long time ago. And more importantly, the people who do a lot of investigating and whatever, they uncovered a Facebook. It was a Facebook request or congratulations from Lil Half Dead to LT Hutton on a Tupac movie. And a lot of people thought that was suspicious. Like, how the fuck does LT Hutton know Lil Half Dead? So, it's just, and if I don't have Facebook, but if you go on any one of their Facebooks, you'll probably still see that post if they haven't erased it, because a lot of people have been on their head about that. So, right. So there's a web of there's a connection with a lot of people where it just sounds like bigger conspiracy all over it,
All fighting for just the money from his estate and the likeness so they can keep that generational wealth to the people that own his rights. Because I'm not going to say this individual name, but someone that I was talking to the other day made a comment like, basically that they kind of helped this Tupac situation. This movie wouldn't be coming out kind of if it wasn't for them. and it was just had to deal something with the music, this and that he had to get permission or something from like Suge Knight or some shit. So in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, Suge Knight haven't owned anything related to Death Row since when?
Well, I know I can't say the exact name, but I know Death Row was put up for auction, and that company was bought by another company. So what Suge owns from that, I don't know. And I also know that Daz Dillinger said it himself that he went in and took some reels, and so I don't know exactly what Suge Knight has in his name that they would have to ask him for. That'll be something that you probably have to get another person to answer. But Death Row was bought at an auction by another another company. I think the same people who own E1 or in bed with E1. Right. They bought that company.
So if it was a list of individuals that tied to this, okay, you still got Suge. Okay, he's still alive, but he's trying to get out of jail.
TV.
You said it was someone else. I can't remember the name. It was someone else that was like, before I die, I want to say something. But now, mysteriously, now they got cancer. You said someone died in the boardroom. So it's a long list of individuals that...
Yeah.
That all
so you got...
Okay, I'm listening.
That died. You mean that long list of people that all died, right?
Right, yeah.
You got Frank Alexander, who was Tupac's right-hand man and bodyguard, good friend. He died. You got Michael Moore, who basically told investigators that he heard a quote-unquote got him from a Caucasian voice over the Nextel speaker at Club 662 with Reggie White's Nextel chirp. He said that he heard somebody say got him in reference to we shot him, we got him. You know what I'm saying? He's dead. You also have Kevin Gaines, who was Sharitha Knight's boyfriend. He's dead as well. You got Russell Poole, who's rest in peace. You got Gaddafi, who's rest in peace. And basically everybody everybody who knew anything about it, or not everybody, but most of the people who knew about it that could, give vivid details, they killed. But not everybody, because you still got the Patton brothers who are alive. You still have Suge, who's still alive. Of course, they trying to get rid of him. And you have who you got?
Now, this is the question I've been seeing. This going along with what you're saying. For everybody I know that be asking, why the outlaws so quiet? The ones that are left. You think they got pressure on them?
I think the outlaws know. I think the outlaws know how deep the conspiracy is with all this. I mean, you got to think about it. These men, they were with Tupac, a long time, and I'm pretty sure they knew about Tupac's run-ins with the law, with the FBI, and they knew that it's deeper. It was real deep. So in my opinion, and of course you had Gaddafi, who died right in front of his girlfriend, waiting. He knocked on the door to tell his girlfriend to open the door, and she like, I'm coming, hold on. He like, man, hurry up. Somebody might be here trying to kill me. And Lord and behold, he dropped dead right there in front of the door. Right there. Dropped dead right there. He got shot right there. Right after he told his girlfriend, girl, open this door. Somebody trying to kill me. So what him and his girlfriend discussed? Don't know. She may know something. You know what I'm saying? I don't think she's had an interview. Well, actually, I believe she has had an interview, but bruh, it's a lot of shit, bruh. That's a lot of shit that's not being put out, because I'm telling you, bro, they close to making a move with this shit. And the gun that was used to kill Tupac was the same gun that they used to kill Biggie.
Yo, this your boy DOC. Like I said, this is a very long conversation. It's multiple other facets and factors that we're going to get deeper into detail with. So go ahead and stick around for part 3 that's going to be coming out soon.